In this episode of Field Tested, we're testing out the Sony Alpha 9s. I'm sure you know the specs. This thing is a total speed demon and it corrects a lot of the issues Sony users had, now with dual cards, much better autofocus and a bigger battery. At a ridiculous 20 frames a second with no frame blackout, a lot of reviewers have been putting this up there right alongside the Nikon D5 and Canon 1DX Mark II, but is it really up to that standard? To field test the A9, I'm taking a pair of them along with some choice G-Master lenses, including the new 16-35 and 100-400 to San Francisco. We're going to be covering the Gay Pride Parade, visiting a redwood forest, heading up the beautiful California coast, and taking a helicopter flight. Let's get into it. Welcome to a new series where we take tech on the road, explore a travel destination, and test the gear out in real life. This is Field Tested. Before we jump into this, folks, please do check out our sponsors who are making this whole series of Field Tested possible. We get our gear from Lens Pro to go, all of our audio comes from Soundstripe, and our videos look so good thanks to the folks at Lutify. Check them out and show them some love. San Francisco has long had an open and inclusive society, and it's been known as kind of a heart of gay culture worldwide. The annual Gay Pride Parade is a huge event and people travel from all around the world to check it out. We've gotten ourselves press passes so that we can shoot from inside the parade route. It should be fun. All right, folks, we're in downtown San Francisco now on Market Street. The Pride Parade is about to kick off any moment now. We're going to the staging area now to sort it out. It's kind of starting to fill up, but soon this place is just going to erupt and be overfilled with people and color. It should be really great. In terms of gear, I've got the two A9s, the 70-200, the 24-70, and I've got the 16-35 in a bag. So this is going to be it. Let's see the parade floats as they start to get ready. All right, hustle bustle, it's hectic, exactly as we expected. Excuse me. Morning. So we're now heading into the actual parade area. We got the press passes so we can go anywhere. Let's go find our place to shoot. Shooting something like this, apart from being so noisy, the light is really challenging. Today it's overcast and you can see in the city, you've got these different layers where the sun is directly hitting the road or where the buildings are blocking it. So your exposure's changing rapidly and the quality and nature of shots you're getting differs if it's soft, saturated light or if it's hard light. So we're moving around to try and get a variety. Overall, I'm really impressed with how the cameras are doing, but I have to say I'm really surprised sometimes the tracking, it stays with it so well, but then just one or two frames here or there jump out of focus. And because the focus moves so fast, it goes from being in focus, completely out of focus, and then back into focus. Shooting the Pride Parade was great fun, and it actually gave a great opportunity to show off what the A9s could do. With the limitations that I've mentioned, they did really well. It was great fun. Having said that, let's slow things down a little bit now and explore the rest of San Francisco. All right, guys, there's so many great districts to explore in San Francisco. This morning we've come into the Mission District and to Clarion Alley. It's full of really cool street art murals. Let's have a look. So one tricky thing with shooting street art or any kind of statue or sculpture, I always find is it's someone else's art. So you just taking a photo of something great they did doesn't make it your own piece of work. You need to do it creatively somehow. Now, I really don't consider myself a street photographer, but a friend of mine who was kind of a mentor was a great street photographer. And he always said what for him at least made great street photos was if he could get a discordant image where it was just kind of incongruent, where it might be shapes misaligned or it could be modern and old or something that's somewhat ironic, or just there's something about the pattern and alignment of things that is a little bit unusual. Reminds me a little bit of Brooklyn or Harlem or the Bronx, all different areas. The row of shoes along there, if you don't know that message, that's a typical way of saying that this is where you can come to buy drugs. And the whole place smells like it's used as a late night toilet. Just be aware when you're shooting this kind of thing of where the shadows are. Your eye compensates so easily for it. If half of the picture is through shadow, it's gonna really ruin your exposure, unless that works for it, that having that, you know, add something to it creatively, or conversely adding the shadows of the ground in the foreground could be something nice. Otherwise, on a day like today with one side in hard light, other side in full shadow, it's not too difficult to shoot. So San Francisco is known as a progressive city, whether it's environmental stuff, medicinal marijuana, and then legalizing marijuana, you know, same-sex marriage, gay rights, all of that kind of thing. A lot of it comes back to its history as a port town and a trading town. It goes back generations, and it's just always been kind of a progressive city, and you can see it all around the city today. So a lot of cities claim that they're a city of parks, but no one holds a candle to San Francisco. A recent study found that actually every resident of San Francisco lives within a 10-minute walk or half a mile of a park. There's literally hundreds of them around the city, and you can see on a good day, there's people out just really enjoying themselves. I have to say the tracking is pretty phenomenal. I do love that it's not blacking out the viewfinder at all. You have to really look at the shots to know are they all in focus to see if it's actually any good, but it seems to be keeping up. And even as I zoom mid-exposure, so I'm in a mid-frame, so I'm tracking, I'm shooting, and then pulling in the zoom to get a tighter shot, it seems to be staying with it really nicely. So hopefully the shots are all sharp. Okay, like anything, it's not foolproof though. I'm definitely getting shots here where I can see it jumps off him and back onto him again. And it's in pretty good light here, so I'm surprised about that. Watching the fog roll over the mountains and engulf the city is truly incredible, but San Fran's climate is just unique anyway in the way that it's got all of these hills and is so close to the coast. The average rainfall can more than halve or double within just a few miles, and the average annual temperature can also vary by a huge margin. In a matter of minutes, you can go from bright and sunny to totally foggy and 10 or 20 degrees cooler. There's the bridge. We got up at 4:30 in the morning to be here for sunrise. I think it's gonna take us a little while before we can get anything that vaguely recognizes the bridge. The shot of the bridge, you know, poking out of the fog is a great one, but just seeing not much disappear into it, there's not much there. So just about half an hour north of San Francisco City is the Muir Park. It's really exciting to come here. It's all about the natural redwoods that blanketed this whole coast generations ago. One of my youngest memories traveling as a kid was coming to a redwood park and seeing General Sherman, the world's biggest tree. So I can't wait to check this out. It's so simple to get a nice, interesting shot with a slightly long exposure. If you're gonna go for blurring out the water, just try a range of different shutter speeds based on the aperture you're able to use and the amount of available light. You might find just 1 second is good, but going all the way up to 30 seconds is easy enough using the built-in timer to get rid of any hand bobble as you press the button. The no blackout screen when you're shooting continuously, it's really something groundbreaking. I was impressed and it's great. I could definitely see myself owning one. Still, having said that, it's just not as fast at focus acquisition as the Nikon and Canon flagships with their top primes. The redwoods are just gorgeous. The old growth ones can grow to be 200 feet tall and up to 20 feet in diameter, but sadly over 95% of them have already been logged. These guys average at around 500 to 700 years in age, but they can get up to 2,000 years old. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold my camera. Oh, this is going to take forever. I'm going to guess 300. Man, the water here is so pristine. You can just see the little fish swimming around. We spotted like 5 little crayfish, and I'm starving. We left before we had a chance to have breakfast today. Man, the on-sensor stabilization is really pretty impressive. I'm just leaning this on a tripod because I'm too lazy to set it up with 16 to 35 at 28 mil. I'm kind of getting shots at around a half a second, and most of them are looking nice and sharp.
We might as well go this way, have a look at Bohemian Grove. I'm hoping to get some of those beautiful shots where you shoot up and just have that beautiful soft diffuse green light and the trees streaming up. Kind of thing people always shoot at the bamboo in Kyoto, but let's see if we can do it with redwoods. You know, I'm fortunate I've got a bunch of the G Master lenses here from the 16 to 35 through to the 100 to 400. In a place like this that's so built up with trees, it's easy to think stick to wider, 16 to 35, 24 to 70, but there are actually some good shots here up to 200 mil to compress the trees all together. So don't let the hat fool you. I'm wearing this to keep my head warm. In the forest like this, it's actually really cool and you have quite limited light. Unless you get direct sun coming in, you'll find that your exposure is actually a lot lower, which gives you room to do creative things like to bring a little bit of movement into your shot. I was just doing some shots of about half a second in exposure, didn't need any filters or anything, and I could put a nice little blur in there. And the shots I was taking at the river earlier, up to like 10 seconds in exposure, also I didn't need a filter for that. If you're going to visit the park, come early. If you arrive before they open or just as they open, 1, you get parking, 2, you may not have to pay for entry fee, and 3, you beat all the tour buses. All right, so we've come up to Bodega Bay. It's about an hour 15 drive north of the Golden Gate Bridge. Nice little drive up. Quaint town, loads of great seafood restaurants, little knick-knack shops, loads of seabirds for photography as well. But bring a jacket. That should be the motto for all of San Francisco. Bring a jacket. 15 minutes ago I was shooting and getting a sunburn, and now I'm freezing. But we'll get a few shots here and we're going to continue heading up north on our way up to Sonoma wine country. So fun day driving around this part of California. We're now at Sonoma County Airport. We've come to Helico Sonoma and Dan is going to take us on a flight around the area. I'm really excited for this. This is one of the key things of this trip. I've never done a helicopter trip. It's going to be doors off. It's going to be great. Let me talk you through my strategy. So I'm actually taking along 3 bodies and lenses because obviously I don't want to be changing anything. They all have fresh cards, fresh batteries, all cleaned, ready to go. I've got the A9 with the 24 to 70G, A9 with the 70 to 200G. I'm not sure that I'm going to use that too much, but let's see. And then I'm actually taking the A7R II as well with the new 16 to 35. I think that's going to be my most used lens actually. For my stills, I'm thinking probably at least 10 times the focal length. So at 200 mil, I'd want to be at least 2,000th of a second shutter speed. On the wide angles, I'm still not going to drop below 1,000th just to make sure I don't get that bit of wobble in my shots.
If you enjoyed that helicopter scene, show our sponsors some love. We got the music from Soundstripe, we colored the video with Lutify LUTs, and the footage was stable thanks to a gyro that we rented from Lens Pro to Go.
wicked fun. Have to say Dan was the best pilot. If you guys are up in this area, do check him out. Really, really great time. We're only up for about 25 minutes, half an hour or so in total. Got some great footage, as you already saw. For stills, I found myself more going for kind of abstract composition, so I hope they worked out. To my surprise, I actually used the 16-35 least, then the 24-70, and I'm pretty sure I used the 70-200 the most, going in tight to get graphic kind of compositions. Kept my shutter speed up. I think that all worked out just fine. The only takeaway that I had was with the doors off, the hood was just catching in the wind like crazy. I was actually worried that it would blow off, so I ended up reversing it. You know, there'll be a bit of glare coming into some of the shots, but better that than, you know, my whole camera gets yanked out of my hand. Great trip, highly recommend it. The A9s overall did really, really well. I have to be honest, if, you know, how they performed exceeded what I could reasonably have expected. This is their first top-of-the-line sports camera in this mirrorless range, and it's just performing fantastically well. In all the different conditions we shot these in, I didn't have any overheating, I didn't have any buffering where the card wasn't able to clear, no errors at all, and I was getting literally thousands of shots from a single battery if there wasn't too much screen playback on the day. If you're coming from an A7 series camera, you're really going to notice the upgrade. But this is the first generation, so I think it's only onward and upward, and if you're in the Sony system and wondering if this is up to the task of professional work, my opinion is a big definite yes. Now, in terms of the lenses, I really love the 16-35, 24-70 is also good. My favorite, I think, was the 70-200, absolutely fantastic lens, and for me, it was the fastest focusing of all of them. The 85 was also great, but there's just so many great 85s on the market, it's hard to stand out. So overall, I think Sony really listened to what were the main complaints about the camera. It's now dual card slot. It'd be nice if they were both UHS 2. It's now got a much bigger battery and much better battery performance. It's a lot faster. The files are looking good. As I said, the focus acquisition and tracking isn't perfect, and I don't think it's at the level of the Canon and Nikon flagships, but it's doing so much better than those other A7s. You won't believe the improvements they've made. All right, folks, so we've come to Sausalito. It's only a half an hour ferry across from San Francisco City, or about a half an hour drive as well. Really quaint little town, lots of restaurants, taffy shops, all kinds of knick-knacky stuff. But it is really lovely. I have to be honest though, I didn't even come here for a photographic opportunity. This is just my mum's favorite village, and she told me I had to come, so here we are.
The ferry ride from San Francisco to Sausalito is only about an hour and it's relatively cheap. Definitely check it out, but note the final one of the day is quite early, but it does mean that you can coincide with sunset.
Don't let's start that again. I've lost another friend and I'm not in. Yeah, you're not in then. Since we both got away by 2 weeks.